Okay, recording.
Okay, roll call. Everyone, all the regular members are here. Bob Chrisman, myself, Roger Cook, Martha Ludwig, Kristen Cassio, Mary West, Dave Manjoya, Drew Quigley, Jennifer Parise, and alternate Jen Pusater. Approval of the April 2021 minutes. Did everybody have a chance to read them?
One correction, please. Shortly towards, I think when I did my motion, my last name is spelled incorrectly. I no longer am related to the drummer or Beethoven.
Isn't it Ludwig?
Yes.
How did I spell it? VIG?
No, I think there's like a Ludwig or something like that.
Sorry about that.
That's
At least
okay.
I didn't spell it Manjoya.
That was my only comment, was just that slight typo correction, please.
Okay.
And my comment for also, I did not approve March minutes. I wasn't at the March meeting.
Sometimes I take a shot in the dark because I can't tell who's talking.
Right.
I just assign a person to it.
So chances are it wasn't me.
I think it was
the other Jen P.
I think it was Jen.
It could be.
Jen and I, whenever board we're on, we get mixed up.
All the time. Understandable.
Right, make it the other Jen P. Do we have a motion to approve?
Yes.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Town board report. Anything, Pete?
Nothing to speak of. Oh, yeah, I could tell you a couple things. You'll like this one. So we just saw a plan. I'm going to turn the video. We just saw a plan for a new well now on Grand Island Boulevard, which is actually on the old, we'll call it the Pizza Hut site.
Yeah.
Benderson's driven it. Basically demolishing the building, repurposing the site, similar parking, similar layout, ties into Walgreens with a side road. Really, really a nice looking deal. Really, really exciting. The planning board was very, very pleased with the plan. I mean, as they presented it, they did a really good job. Very detail oriented. I think it's going to be really nice.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
What about the
really good thing.
Fantasy Island?
Fantasy Island, we hear more and more. We're still, there's no confirmation to me yet, but we'll,
Still a fantasy.
Sounds like it's getting warm.
What about the Mexican restaurant?
Yeah, it's coming soon. If it is it open yet?
June 1st.
June 1st, huh? Hot tamale time. Yeah.
So is it a family-owned restaurant or is it a chain thing?
No, family.
I think it's family owned, but it's also a small chain. They own a few restaurants.
That's great.
So they seem very excited from what I'm told, and they're happy to be in the area, and they're looking forward to it.
They've been doing a nice job with their social media so far, I think. People are getting excited for it. I'm
starting to hear rumblings too that we will probably see some stuff coming up in the near future down on Love Road in the Hamlet. I think we're going to probably see Dollar General come back. So it's looking like we're heading that direction, depending on some approvals. But I saw a site plan the other day, and they're applying for some stuff. So to be continued.
Pete, is the auto brokers going to be working on anything from their plan soon, or?
They have their stuff approved.
Yeah.
But I think they're victims of COVID too.
Yeah.
Where things are really just hard to do right now, and I can tell you that the automotive industry is absolutely in utter chaos right now.
They're still planning on doing it though, as far as you know. Nothing.
I think as far as I know, nobody's retracted anything.
It looks great just to have that building done.
Yeah.
I don't know. The financial report for used vehicles is through the roof right now. So I think
used is good. Used is good.
Yeah, they're not having issues over there.
No, I think they're actually capitalizing. you know,
Yeah,
where the new car dealers are struggling. So
there's a shortage of used vehicles in the country right now.
Yeah, auto parts, warehouse space, anything automotive related that has to do, I mean, it's through the roof. I mean, that I can definitely tell you.
And then the motel next to that, now is going to be, that's just for seniors, the apartments, I think I heard. I didn't know that, but someone told me.
I don't know if it's specified for seniors, but it's efficiency apartments. I'm not exactly sure what it looks like inside, but I know that from the outside it looks a heck of a lot different than it used to.
Oh,
yeah. I mean,
it
definitely. We definitely went up the food chain quite a bit.
Yeah.
It must be for seniors because I'm getting it on my Facebook feed all the time.
Oh, there you go.
See, I wouldn't get that, Bob.
Yeah.
So I think that's about all I can tell you right now. So things are still moving for us. That's good. I said, to me, this whole well now thing is really, it's a pivotal piece because that basically, that's a big deal, and they're willing to invest in our town. And I think it's something we've wanted a long time. And I think that's just a really good indicator that we're in better shape than many, you know?
Yeah. Okay, moving on, market analysis RFP. What we agreed to in executive session was that we're going to interview all 3 respondents. Dave Majoya is going to put together the Zoom meetings with the respondents. We're going to come up with lists of questions for them by the end of next week. And we will include at least 3 members presenting or questioning, and it'll be open to everybody else. And we'll also record it for other people to be able to see.
And Bob, as soon as you actually start to schedule these interviews, I will alert the town board so they all know what's going on. If somebody really has a strong desire to be involved, then so be it. If not, we'll make sure they understand where they could watch it or find the tape.
Right. Okay. Town solar law. Did we do anything to put a recommendation together yet? Well, Roger and Dave.
We did not, but I did observe the last meeting, Pete, that the solar committee had. Right. I like the direction it's going. Maybe Pete, you could just fill us in where you think we are. It seems like we're making good progress.
Well, I think there's been a lot of constructive brainstorming, in my opinion. There's been pretty much opinions from one side of the scale to the other. You know, and basically this has just been a fact-finding mission and I guess a data recording session. And now it's all going to go back to the town board, which actually they tried to schedule the first meeting tonight. But I said, absolutely not. I'd rather hang out with the EDAB board than you guys. So it didn't go through tonight. But I would imagine, like, probably beginning of next week, we're going to start disseminating through some of what was said. You know, some of it has a lot of value, some of it doesn't. And some of it has a lot of value, maybe, you know, in reference to the entire code, not just specific to solar.
He can carry stuff up to Allie's room.
So that's about it. I mean, I think so far it's been pretty respectful and pretty good. Got a lot of different ideas, a lot of things to look at, and we'll go from there.
I thought the solar presenters made good points and they were respected.
Yep.
And they seemed fairly satisfied with, I thought, the outcomes, which to me is key here.
Right.
I think Dave and I still have a role to play. We need to maybe sit down with you, Pete, at some point and look at how what the proposed changes are.
Right.
But I like the direction it was going. It seemed, I guess what I really liked was that it seemed like there was a consensus that the Army Corps of Engineers and the department and DEC really make the decisions about the environmental impacts. And it's not like we have a second guess from people in the town on that. I mean, I got a sense that there was, and that to me was very critical, that we're not second guessing what our agencies who we pay to do this stuff, what conclusions they come up with.
Yeah.
In terms of wetlands, in terms of trees, all those issues, because there was some second guessing in my set.
Right.
My perspective going on.
So I'm not trying to tell you that we don't want your comments, because that's untrue, but maybe to hold them till you start to see some, I guess, some initiatives come out of the town board. You know, maybe that makes more sense. Maybe it doesn't to you. It's up to you. You know, if you wanted to look at if you wanted to make sure you were included in our first draft, well, that would be fine with me.
I think it would be good if Dave and I sat down and talked with you.
That's fine.
And maybe Bev. I mean, Bev was the author of the original ordinance. Mm-hmm. I think it was unfortunate we were left out as a board, because we are interested in the business aspect of solar.
Right.
And we think it's we took the position it was a legitimate business, and it was a business that didn't cost the town anything. Right. And it was a business that created value, real value, in terms of meeting the goals of the renewable energy standard that's been set for New York State. Mm-hmm. So that's my 2 cents.
Okay.
I just have a quick comment. I've been watching the meetings too. I think I've been really pleasantly surprised on how they're going. I think it's a really diverse board. I wasn't sure exactly of everyone that's on it, but I was happy to see how it's somewhat moving along, and it seems like a lot of different opinions. The one thing I did bring up actually at my meeting this morning is I sit on the Ag and Markets board, and we've often talked about solar, and we're working on R1 zoning, which is a large part of the ag areas, or, you know, large parcels on the island that would be for farming. And I did bring attention to the fact that I asked Mr. Madigan if he would maybe bring that into further conversations on that level, that we get that into the code too, because on Ags and Market, we're working on, we're doing our right to farm code. So it would be nice that that gets added into the solar, but kind of somewhat goes along with the same things you're saying, Roger, with even this board. You know, I'm going to hold my comments off on that until they come together with their final draft there. And it'd be great for all of us to review it on all the boards before it goes forward.
I agree.
Agreed.
Hey, Pete, just one last question that never got answered. I don't think it's come up. I think some people think that the number of solar farms is almost infinite, that becomes, we're going to take so much land away that it's going to cut into green space and commercial development. What I would like to know is, I think there's a finite number of projects that we can actually have, and I would like to really see the committee tell us what that is. If it's there's only so many places you can tie in to the grid, and so is it 4 or 5? How many projects are there that are potentially? And maybe the solar developers can answer that question, but I think it's a question that needs to be asked. And
I know exactly what you're saying, Roger. We've always been under the assumption there's only so many plugins, if you will, and right. You know, I think 2 years ago I asked the same thing. I'm like, how much can we do? What is our potential? How far can we go? And nobody could or would answer me. They seemed to say that was a unanswerable question, and I was like, okay, why? And they're like, well, I mean, we don't know what's coming and how many megawatts and this and that, and they couldn't seem to even like give me a ballpark on that. They just kind of said every solar field that comes forward has to apply, and we look at it at that point to see if it's viable or not. And that was their answer. I didn't like the answer, but that's the answer I got.
Well, I wonder if the solar developers could give us an answer. They're the experts in this area.
Well, they actually have to apply every time they have an inkling. They're, you know, if they're investigating an area, the first thing they do is apply to see if it's viable. And I don't think they know until grid says yes or no, you know. And I would hesitate to guess, but I would think that there's been some responses that grid probably just said, no, we can't do that there, you know? So, but we don't know that. We don't hear about the ones that get a yes, you know? So that doesn't answer your question, but I never got mine answered either.
Yeah, I just think that commercially, it's not going to be feasible unless you're pretty close to a substation or have access to the grid.
It seems like there's really I guess, strong hotspots on the grid that'll hold it. You know, like you said, with a substation nearby or something like that. It seems like the industrial boulevards and stuff have a little more potential, and that's why we're seeing them there. But yeah, I don't disagree with you. I'd love to know the answer to that question so we can understand how far this is going to go. You know.
Yeah. Thank you.
Keep asking the question, Pete.
What's that?
Keep asking the question.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody will give you an answer.
Yeah, I'll keep asking.
We need to answer that question. I think there's a myth out there that these solar farms are just going to be willy-nilly all over the island, and it's just not true. Right. And I think the closer we can get to saying there's only going to be 3 or 4, 5 more possibilities, there probably aren't even that many. I think if we can get that answer, even from National Grid, I just think anyway, it puts that to bed.
Yeah, I understand. And that's why I asked it originally. I agree.
Okay, anything else on the solar law? If not, Newtown website. I'll let you know.
Wait.
Okay.
Can we go back to the one before? Who are the other 2 members of the committee so I can coordinate schedules?
I'll volunteer.
Bob and Mary. Or whoever else wants to.
Hey, Mary?
But I'm out.
Yes, sir.
Will you volunteer to be part of the 3-person committee?
It depends on when it is.
You can put me down too.
Jen,
So like if Mary and I will try to be the 3rd person between the 2 of us, will work it
right.
out.
Yeah, okay. That sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, my time is extremely limited right now, to say the least.
If you need a secondary backup, I could volunteer. I've done a lot of RFPs in the past at the corporation too. So,
what I'd suggest is, Dave, you put it together when you can do it, and we'll find. I'll make myself available, and we'll find a 3rd person. Sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Newtown website. This isn't going to take long. I was invited to represent EDAB at a couple of their RFP reviews with a couple of potentials. Councilman DeGatti asked me to come along, and I gave my opinion to the 2 presentations I saw, but it's going to be decided by the tech committee and the town board. From our point of view, any one of the 3 that they're considering to build their new website will be able to support whatever we need the website to do. I don't think there's any that they need any comments from us. I had a preference, but Judy Schmidt's preference is probably not the same as mine, and since Judy will be working on it, it'll probably go her way, which is fine. There's going to be a review meeting this coming week that I'll probably attend, and I'll let you guys know. But the town is moving forward to try to modernize the website. What they'd like to do too is to be able to roll in the recreation center, our recreation department, to be able to do scheduling and things like that on the website. I think the biggest issue will be to get to drive people to our website, and posting videos and posting information with links to the website to make people go to the website to read information. Probably the way they're going to have to go just to get any kind of audience at the website. So that's all I had to say. Ecotourism Subcommittee. Roger, did you guys ever get together?
Well, you know, I was in Florida, as you know, and I was coming back up and I didn't get the Zoom thing together. And Kristen's been working on her law exams. We've both been working on stuff. I met with Drew today just to flesh out some of his ideas, and it was very productive. I would suggest if we could meet, I think we're all vaccinated, right? The ones, I think it was Martha, Jen Parisi, Kristen, Drew, and Pete all volunteered to be part, and Jen Pusatier to be a part of the committee. I'm just wondering if we could have a meeting at the Welcome Center in that room. Well, if they allow us to take our mask, well, we could leave our masks on as far as that goes, but probably if we shut the door, we could take our masks off and have a face-to-face. So I'm so tired of these damn Zoom meetings, and I think we need a chance to be able to just talk to each other face-to-face if everybody on the subcommittee agrees. Two, I would like to see if we couldn't do it sometime, perhaps next week, before we actually formulate some of the questions on ecotourism. I'd like to really it was really helpful for me to sit down with Drew today to find out who Drew is and his interests. And I think if each of us, like I'm thinking of you, Jen Pusatier, you have your pulse on the chamber and the kinds of questions and issues that we have there, and so forth and so on. Kristen's been working kind of on a strategic plan or a master plan or an overall plan type of thing. And if we're all prepared to come to the table with ideas, so we don't have to just kind of keep just searching, but have some concrete ideas and share those, that's the way I would like to see it run. I don't know how others feel, but if we could just say, let's meet at noon at the Welcome Center on Wednesday or Thursday or something like that, and start sharing ideas. What do you all think? Would that work? Kristen, are you good with that?
That sounds good, Roger. I think, yeah, my schedule opens up next week. The Welcome Center sounds good. If it's nice out, they have those tables in the back too. So we can
do that too.
Outside.
Yeah. How about you, Drew? Are you good?
Yeah.
Pete, are you good?
Tuesdays are not. Mondays and Tuesdays are hard. The
Let's say Wednesday or Thursday. How about that?
Yeah, I think we could probably make something work there.
Roger, Wednesdays are better for me.
Let's say Wednesday then at the Welcome Center. How about noon? Should we buy some lunch from them and
Sure.
coffee?
Sounds good.
Okay.
I won't be able to make that, but you guys do that. And I look forward to hearing about your ideas. Don't try to change anything just because, I mean, there's still a whole huge chunk of us that are there. So I'll be there in spirit.
Your part, I think, is helping us with the long range plan and how the different boards can work together.
Right.
And I look to Pete for that guidance too. I think that would be helpful.
So that's the 19th, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think a great direction, Roger. We've been trying to get on the phone. I think a great direction to sit down with this is you've created an outstanding master list of everything in your brain. I think got down on paper. I think a great idea would to sit with us in this board, or my thoughts is to organize all of that and kind of put them in subsections of maybe or even certain areas of the island or whatnot that we can tackle little pieces of the pie and who the stakeholders are to try to organize all of that together. So then as we're getting other information in and we can look towards other boards on certain directions or something. Anyways, we have something that's organized together that we can build upon. I think we need a good base of all our ideas, thoughts, and the directions we're going, and then we all can build off of that. And I think meeting at the Welcome Center is an awesome start to that.
And Kristen has really taken what I threw in there.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty random. She's been reworking that and putting it in more of a kind of almost a strategic plan format. Yeah. And so, okay, so let's meet next Wednesday. And Kristen, if you want to share stuff before the meeting, if you're at that point, so that we can.
I'd like to clean it up a little bit, but then I can share it out to the group so we can take a look at it in advance.
And
Great.
Bob and others, Mary, if you all want to come, there's no secrets. You're welcome. But we do have a subcommittee, so here we go.
Okay, we're down to the round table. Anybody have anything? I mean, we spent a lot of time in executive session, but does anybody have anything else they want to bring up?
I have just one, just for radar. The Traffic Safety Board is talking about the lowering of the speed limit. They had some discussions about it at their last board meeting. They brought up our board as to looking into that. From their, anyways, we should keep that on our radar with them. And if conversations go in directions, or if they're gonna pursue that, I wanna keep that on our radar too.
And I could talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
I think I might have actually, I don't know, lit that fire a little bit. The discussion's always been, is the speed limit too high on the boulevard and on Baseline for that matter, through Town Center. There's been a lot of discussions with the Greenway on the Town Center path that goes through the island. And that's kind of spurred some more conversation as to how come when you have a town that has a 45-mile-an-hour speed limit coming into town, it spreads the 2 lanes at 45 and then goes back to 1 without a speed drop. So there has been some discussions about potentially lowering pieces of it, and maybe the piece on Whitehaven between, I would say Grand Boulevard and Baseline, bringing that down just to basically around the what I call the diamond, the town center, where the town hall is, where the fire department is, and all that stuff. And it kind of makes sense for pedestrian safety and for a couple other reasons. Personally, I can tell you, and this is just my personal opinion, owning the business on the boulevard, it would probably not be a bad thing. Traffic's actually gotten faster since they put the turning lane in for Heron Point, because now that doesn't slow it down. And some years back when they put the traffic circle in, that's kind of, as much as that works well, it stopped the mitigation of traffic. So now it constantly flows. So you try to make a left out of a business like mine, for example, at 4:30. You better go right. And you're going to have to go around the block. I
was going to say the same thing, Pete. When I bring my rototiller into you, it takes me forever to make a left.
Yeah, you got to make a right, go down Webb. It's the only way through it.
Yeah, my daughter moved into Nottingham across the way, and I'm afraid of her getting in an accident there. The chambers talked about this. Many of the business owners and, Flower a Day, I don't think Sue would mind me saying this, are in favor of lowering that. Yeah. Lowering that. They've seen, when you're standing out in those buildings all day and you're listening to the noise that's happening out there, you realize what's going on out there versus someone like me that wants to hurry up and get to the brick oven and wants to do 45. I mean, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead.
The Traffic Safety Board, which I was really surprised with, and I'm not going to speak for anyone, but the impression I was giving is that they weren't really maybe altogether is in favor of that. There were some discussions about if really slowing the speed limit is going to bring people into the businesses and make people stop. But that's, I guess, up for discussion, but I think safety is a huge issue. So just that it was brought up, so I wanted to bring it up to you. And they specifically said the Economic Development Board.
Well, I mean, I didn't bring this forth to create more business traffic. I just don't want anybody getting killed pulling in my business, and there's a lot of turns going in both directions now. In some places it's single lane road. So somebody's making a right, for example, into one of these places and they get hit at 45. It's going to be a mess. I've seen more accidents than I care to see. I've seen way more accidents than I know that are reported, and that's, so you could show me traffic data, but I can also tell you that I've seen it. I've seen kids get hit on bicycles out there. I've seen it all. I would really like to see the speed limit lower. I would.
Yeah, I mean, safety is a huge thing. Okay. But the other thing is access to business, right? And as you say, try making a left-hand turn out of your business, okay, at 4:30, right? Yeah. People avoid going to businesses, okay,
yes, they do.
because they can't get in and out.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's also because some of our businesses are so set back from the road because we've had a hodgepodge of different, zoning requirements. It's visibility is important, okay, but also it's access. So that's part of it.
Well, I mean, if you're going 30, it's exactly.
Yeah.
You know, go 45 down Grand Island Boulevard, there's an issue.
Yeah. Very good
point. Promote ecotourism and have people biking and running, and there's people going 50 miles per hour. It doesn't make any sense.
No, I mean, to me, forgetting all that other stuff, which you can't forget it, but, the things that make a town center are number one, walkability, which now we have sidewalks. Number two, lower speeds, which I think we need for safety's sake. And number three is probably some sort of, I would say ambient or street type lighting or something like that, just to call out your town center. So now it's identified. And I think that would really go a long way. That I think in a few years, we could have a lot different looking boulevard, and I think in all the positive directions,
So we've been batting this around for 3 years or 4 years now. So do we work with the traffic board? Do we make a recommendation? I mean, we certainly have the right to make a recommendation from a business standpoint.
Right.
So
Roger, we made early on, I think 3 or 4 years ago, a recommendation for them to look into the lowering of the speed limit. And I think that this is one of us doing that 3 or 4 years ago, Jen, right? Is why it's being looked into, or one of the reasons. So
the traffic board is going to come up with a decision.
Yeah, basically that's what they told us when we asked them to consider it. They said they would consider it. And
it's been almost 3 years that we.
Right. So they've been considered, right.
Well, so now things have changed a little bit in that direction, because Greenway is now putting their town center trail through, and we're all saying the speed limit's too high. There's not enough shoulder. There's this, there's that. So now all the lights are starting to shine on that, to where this board, if that was their position before, they were correct, and now it's starting to, I guess we have some confidence there with the Greenway. They see the value in lowering our speed limit. I mean, I don't mind saying my suggestion. I thought it should lower from Webb Road on Grand Island Boulevard and Baseline, and stay at 35 till you get to the Dell, on both Baseline and Grand Island Boulevard, and try and lose those 5-lane roads, make them 3 lanes with a generous shoulder so they have pedestrian and bike accessibility and safety, and lower the speed limits, and just bring it into, so you're coming into town. Slow down. That's all.
Do you all remember when it was 55?
Yeah. I grew up then.
Yeah, me too.
I think they made it 45 because of me,
One comment, Jen, Parisi, and Mary I'm going to ask the two of you, and I'm going to look into my files to see if we can come up with our copy of our recommendation from 3 years ago, and just circulate it to the group. I'll look. I think I have it, but I'm not going to look now. So anything else for roundtable? If not, I'm looking for a motion.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Where's Chrisman?
He's there. He's just quiet. Muted.
I'm muted.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank
Bob.
you.